Hello, Eight of Cups family. Welcome to Eight of Cups Tarot and welcome to your astrology portion of the October readings. Guys, October is really intense. It's really all about this Plutonian energy. Very fitting for October, very Halloween-like. But it starts out in the beginning of the month with an extremely intense new moon. Now, typically we look at new moons as an avenue of growth, initiation, inviting new things into our lives. This moon is very different. We also have 4 planets stationing direct this month, and a lot of our personal planets are shifting to different signs. And on top of it all, we have a super intense Mercury retrograde in Libra. So let's put it all together really quick. Here's how it's going to go. The beginning of the month, right out of the door, we're going to be triggered. The universe is really pushing us to expose some of these deep wounds that are buried. Now we're playing along with making an opposition to Chiron with this moon. It is conjunct Mars. It's making a square to Pluto. Mercury is making a square to Pluto as it's in retrograde most of the month. And it's also creating a beautiful trine to Jupiter. So it's very hard to navigate between this really beautiful, hopeful Jupiterian energy and a square to Pluto. This is really where we bring up the depths of our wounds and our subconscious, and we offer them up for healing. So this new moon is about releasing these old feelings, releasing these old triggers. Because Mercury is retrograde and Mercury rules the mind and how we think, it's giving us a chance to reframe this. This is an invitation for a lot of us to step out of the victim mode. Now, I don't say that like, you have things happen to you in your life. That's what we're here for, is this human experience. But because the bad things happen, because we've had disappointments, and we start to look at life and we start to look at what fear does to us, how it makes us sell ourselves short, it stops us from participating in certain things, it stops us from deepening our connections. And some of these old wounds are going to get triggered. And we're going to have a choice, because Libra, a lot of this energy is about choice, and we've got the North Node in Gemini, and it's getting ready to finish up here and move into Scorpio-Taurus axis. We've got a lot of things we've got to close out rather quickly in the end of this year. Jupiter is going direct. He's going to finish up his tour in Aquarius, and by December he moves back into Pisces. And so we're really left with Saturn, which is also going direct in Aquarius, which really does talk about the healing of the collective. There's an opportunity here. We can resonate with those old wounds. We could play this out in a lot of different ways. We can make choices to stay in a place of fear and to play it safe, or we can tap into that Jupiterian energy and allow ourselves to grow. When we start to see these situations from a different light, growth is always inevitable, right? So we have these really beautiful energies, and because we've got all the energy going on in Libra right now, there is a lot about partnerships at stake here. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. It's just simply the partnerships, the friendships that we hold in our lives, and how we view them, how we approach them, what we're willing to give to them. Some of these relationships this month are going to be make or break, because we're going to have this mentality. For some of us, there's some things that are playing out that seem very familiar, and because we've been there, done that, we're not going to want to do it again. And so there's this fierce independence that comes through, especially by the end of the month as we have the full moon in Aries. This is an energy of wanting to go it alone, it doesn't matter what other people think or say. And that's all part of this, finding our sovereignty this month, figuring out who we are and what we want and committing to it. And we're going to see other people triggering us. We're going to see a lot of projections in other people. And Mercury retrograde in Libra can have a very sharp tongue at times. And I have to laugh because my girlfriend just got me this as a birthday present, this cup. I don't know if you guys could see it. Sorry for what I said while Mercury was in retrograde. I think a lot of this month has to do with our ability to find grace, which means not only are we learning how to accept ourselves, we're also learning how to accept other people and their choices in their lives. Now, you look around at the collective, and one of the easiest way for me to frame this example for you is some people are triggered because people don't want to wear masks, right? I have no opinion on this. You do you. But it triggers some people. And we don't know why. We don't know where that comes from, that internal triggering. And then other people are triggered at your lack of fear, the lack of respect for what's going on. And it's really all about this judgment period. We're judging everybody. When you find grace, not only do you have the ability to do what your heart and your soul tells you to do, but you also have compassion to understand the choices of other people. Now, I said it's a karmic month. When we have planets moving direct, that means that there's forward motion, but usually what happens, first we will have Pluto stationed direct, then we will have Saturn, then Jupiter, and towards the end of the month, Mercury will move direct in Libra. This is big energy because there's a lot about karma that comes into play. What have you learned? What's the risk and reward? Jupiter wants to give, right? He's moving into Pisces, so there's a preparation. We've got to get ready for this great renewed faith. We had a taste of Jupiter in Pisces earlier in the summer, late May and June, before he retrograded back into Aquarius. Those storylines were introduced. Where do we want to take it from here? Saturn, being another very karmic planet, stationing direct, is going to be all about our inner integrity. If we're not in the right relationships, if we're not in the right job scenarios, if they are not a reflection of our true integrity and what our soul wants and needs from us, and part of our destiny is at play here, then these things are ultimately going to crumble. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's going to leave or quit their jobs in October, but we're looking at the collective, we're looking at these vaccine mandates, and we're looking at a drove of society that is changing their career paths. So of course there's a lot of change in the sky, and with that amount of intense change comes the idea of vulnerability. And you're going to find yourself vacillating between vulnerability and tremendous bravery and courage this month, and those two go hand in hand so wonderfully. To look at the positive side of partnerships, we can find such a beautiful connection this month to people that are integral in our lives and do share that integrity. There's so much growth here if you are in a very supportive relationship. If you have very supportive friends, these will be a source of strength. Because it's so much nicer to go through these changes when you have other people that believe in you. So don't underestimate the support that you can get from other people, and don't underestimate what your support to them means as well. Vulnerability is a big issue for all of us because we've all been in that place in our lives where we've had to be vulnerable, where we've been hurt. Chiron is going to remind us of those wounds, but Chiron is here to teach us how to overcome it. And that full moon conjunct Chiron at the end of the month is where it all starts to make sense. What isn't working, what is working, the relationships that we want, what we want our futures to look like, what we want to do with our careers, how we want to invest our time, what our priorities are. Remember, we've been under this tremendous internal shift for several months. As these planets move direct, and especially into November and December, the action is just going to take place. These changes are going to unfold with very little effort anyways. So it's better to take October to do the internal healing, to face these old wounds and to reframe them. And it's important to understand that grace means that whatever your imperfections are, whatever your mistakes were in the past, they were here as a teaching moment, and we're meant to evolve from them. Nothing ever happens to us in this lifetime that will ever, it's never meant to keep us small. It's never meant to convince us that we aren't capable or we're not deserving of the things that we truly love. Guys, desire is born within us because it's meant to lead us towards our destiny. When you desire something, a certain type of relationship, a certain type of career or job, when you desire to have a child or to buy a new home, these are all callings on your path. And so the universe doesn't want you to play it small anymore. It wants you to listen to that. It wants you to start taking those risks. So October is such an important month to go within, to take that retrospective moment and to understand what it is inside of us that causes any kind of hesitation or delays or where we don't believe in ourselves. Desire is important. Mars is a major player in both of these moons. Where it is part of our soul's integrity, we have the ability to overcome and grow. Jupiter and Mars together is the greatest form of ambition, and the universe is so supportive of it. So pay attention to your inner callings. Pay attention to that inner healing. When you get triggered this month, and you will, you have to know where it's coming from. You have to know the universe just wants more from you, and that these old stories really have to be put to bed so we can move on in this new growth. Guys, I hope you enjoy your readings. October is a tremendously healing month, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care. Welcome to your cards for October. So the first reading I did was Libra, and the second reading I'm doing is yours, because I feel like both of your signs are really getting hit with massive transits this month, really setting the tone for the end of 2021. Now I explained this to Libra, and I'm going to say it to you. We have been undergoing a major process. 2021 has been the year of change. Now, for the cardinal signs, the change began a while ago. We began changing our lives, and especially Capricorn hosting Pluto. There's been such a transformation throughout our energy, as I've explained, where October is going to come along and set a brand new precedence. It's going to be hard to ignore. And there's so much action going on in your fourth house, of really emotional house, in your 10th house, which is more about, who you are, how other people see you. It's your reputation, your identity. Oftentimes it is our career or our destined paths in life, what we're here, like our actual ultimate purpose. This month is really going to trigger you to understand destiny at a whole new level. And you have a lot of support on your side, including time, because Mercury is making this long retrograde through the sign of Libra in your 10th house, which is going to allow you to kind of really assess and recreate where you are and what you want. And I've been talking a lot through 2021 about like the shift in priorities. And we've been seeing it play out in the collective in the very way that like we can't get people to work, or people are having major career changes, whether it is due to a vaccine mandate or whether it's just due to external circumstances. We are changing rapidly. And when we go through this rapid of change, We really have to meet up with the inner core, or our inner strength. We have to face a lot of fears. And as we start off October, we have this opposition between Mars and Chiron, and then the Sun and Chiron. And it's going to trigger us to kind of really look at how far we've come. You know, most likely we're going to have circumstances that feel a little bit similar to other circumstances in our past. And we're going to have to do that balancing work between what is possible and what we don't want, simply because of the fear. Now you are coming out as a Queen of Cups, and I love that energy because it tells me that you are emotionally sound. You understand how you feel. This is a card of tremendous empathy and intuition. It's also a card of radical acceptance of self, because it represents the ability to love yourself. Listen, the Queen of Cups is the most compassionate and empathic card in the deck. It's unconditional love. And the only reason a person can achieve unconditional love or give or express unconditional love in any way is if they've done the work to love themselves unconditionally. And so in a way, I'm looking at this Queen of Cups, and I'm seeing that you, probably unbeknownst to you by the beginning of the month, have made so many strides to get to where you are. And like I've been saying to everybody, as we start to recognize how much we've adjusted our vibrational frequency, right? The things that we resonate in our life are much different than what we resonated with a year ago, 5 years ago, 20 years ago. And this is our soul's evolution. And because your environment is that of the Fool card, it is clear to me that there are new beginnings on the precipice. Look at, rooted down by this card of opportunity. There's something new being born, a new process, a new career, a new love life. And it's pushing you to this level of having to really strip down, which is this Pluto energy, really strip down to the core of why you want the things you want. And what are you willing to give up to get them? And we're starting off the reading here with the Six of Pentacles, the Moon, and the Two of Wands. And this Six of Pentacles is very Capricorn energy to me, because it's the ability to give in several different directions, right? There's reciprocity, which is represented here. Some of you may be in situations, well, be it relationships, jobs, whatever it is, where there is an equal give and take. If not, Libra season will balance that out. When I'm feeling this energy, that's not really the first thing that comes to mind when I see the Six of Pentacles. Because we have 3 pentacles here, 2 pentacles here, and reminder, Capricorn, you are the center person. You are the giver in this situation. And to me, this almost represents a choice, especially because we have the Two of Wands with it. And it's a choice of where we want to devote our energy. Now, we know we can kind of balance things, right? We can manage, especially a Capricorn can kind of manage, even if you're like working a full-time job and then trying to like do your own business on the side. We can manage the balancing of it. But we may not understand the emotional toll that it's taking on us, the Moon card. And the Moon representing the hidden, what is deep within. And a lot of times we try to put on this brave face, like we can maintain this level of duty, we can maintain this level of responsibility, and yet deep down we know that this is causing a tremendous amount of unhappiness. And the thing is, like I said, there's something that almost feels unattainable here. And the Two of Wands staring right at this moon, staring right at, the world kind of in his hand. It's like you're getting a taste of what you truly want and desire. But you're being asked to not devote everything to it. See, I get this feeling that there's so much love or joy or excitement that comes from this thing that seems unattainable. We continue to give, right, to kind of maintain the balance, to keep a happy home, to keep the bosses or everybody in our life happy, to maintain our stability, not ready to give up that full-time job because we really rely on that paycheck and we like that security. If it's a relationship, maybe not wanting to invest fully because we have these fears. Listen, when a 9 of Swords pops up in the center of the reading, especially underneath the moon and sandwiched between an 8 of Swords, we're talking about fear here. You get the feeling that there's like this alternate universe that Capricorn wants to tap into, but the doors haven't opened. Something feels impossible. Something feels like this will never be more than a dream. And it causes a lot of anxiety in you because it exposes all of the ways in which you self-limit yourself. 8 of Swords. You get the feeling that Capricorn has like this dream life on the other side and yet feels stuck here, rooted in reality. And here we have you're very close to achieving a goal. This means we're very close to this full moon. We have this moon here, we have this moon here, and then we have this card number 6, not for you. And here we have a 6 of Swords, kind of representing, like this 6 card here represents rejection as God's protection. And here we have a moving away. And this thing, this dream that you have, this thing that you wish could kind of be, like, let's just say like a full-time gig, or you could put all of your energy into it. Like Capricorn wants to be all in. And yet they're telling themselves, probably, telling themselves that there's no possible way it could be. And yet the universe is saying you're closer than you think. Center of the reading, 9 of Swords. You're coming very close to the end of a cycle. And because you're a Queen of Cups, right? Because you're tapping into this very intuitive energy this month, you probably sense this ending coming. And it's so Plutonian in nature because you know that something has to die in order for something to be born. Because the 6 of Pentacles giving to 2 different things, giving to 2 different scenarios, 2 different life forces is simply unsustainable, the moon. Because it drains you. And you're in the Queen of Cups mode, so you know how precious your energy is. And you also know what your heart wants. Full card. And so I'm looking at this not for you card, and I'm not really seeing like Capricorn being rejected. I feel like you're being heavily supported. So I feel like this rejection is more or less coming from you than it is coming towards you. And we have this 3 of Swords here.
meaning you might really have to disturb some stuff this month, Capricorn. You might be making a decision to really shake life up. And there might be some people in your life whose hearts you will have to break. But this is a process that Pluto is asking you to go through, because there's this major transformation coming, right? Card of opportunity and the Fool card. But you can't drag this other thing along with it. The universe wants you to be all in, the Fool card. The universe wants you to take a leap of faith. So you really have to take a hard look this month at where you are stuck. Mars is going to move into Scorpio and become exalted in your 11th house of wishes and dreams. And this is a really intense placement because it opens up so much opportunity for you. And here we have the card of opportunity. Now I'm going to tell you a lot of Capricorns are going to stay here. They're going to stay in this 9 of Swords energy, 8 of Swords energy. They're going to stay stuck. They're going to stay stuck because of the heavy Saturnian nature. But here's the thing. You might feel really obligated towards a certain part of your life, like you have to just stay here and do this thing. Like I said, people are relying on you. But Saturn and Jupiter going direct in Aquarius in your 2nd house means you're going to have to put yourself first. The universe isn't going to have it any other way. So most likely this scenario will crumble anyways. It is not built on a strong foundation. And so do you want to get a head start? Like I see this card number 6. And I see this card number 6. And I feel like the universe is giving you a head start, Capricorn. Start making the plan. Start believing that this is possible. But it's not possible until you enter into this realm. Look, we have the Page of Wands and the Fool. These are very light energies, the lightest energies in the deck. We're not carrying baggage. We're not carrying guilt. We're not carrying sorrow. If something in your life has been on hold and hasn't moved, it is simply because this stuff needs to be cleared away from you. The stress, the doubt, the inability to believe that it is even possible. So we have this card number 4, opportunity, and we have this card number 31 breaking down to a 4, dry desert. Where you are now is not for you, Capricorn. Let me say it again. The place that you are at right now is not for you. The universe knows that. The universe is supporting you. You are closer to your goal than you realize. Moon card. Ultimately, this is what Capricorn wants, this 4 of Wands energy of being in supportive relationships, being in workplaces where they are loved and celebrated, being in relationships that are reflecting the happiness and the joy and the lighter side of life. Because where you are now feels so heavy, so in the head, so mercurial. All of the things that you overthink 1,000 times. Like say you've always had a dream to start your own restaurant, and then there's like a million reasons why now is not a good time, right? The universe is telling you, the Fool card, now is the right time, and the only one holding you back is you. This is a month to get unstuck, Capricorn. Not to just think about it, but to start really making the steps, making the moves away from the areas in your life where you are stuck. And it's a month to listen to your own heart. Like, use that compassion, that acceptance energy on yourself more than anything. See, it's almost like you're being like a cycle of reparenting yourself. Like, you have to be your own mother. And you also have to be the child with this Page of Wands. You have to allow yourself to say, I have these crazy dreams. I want life to feel this way. But you also have to be the one to wrap your arms around that inner child and say that is absolutely possible. You can absolutely have that. That you are deserving. And Chiron's going to make that really apparent in our lives. Anywhere where we carry those wounds, anywhere where somebody had ever said to us, you're not good enough, or you'll never be able to do that, or you'll never have that kind of life. Now is a chance to hug that child within us and assure them that that person was just projecting their own stuff. That story wasn't for us, not for you. Those old storylines are not for you. Listen, Pluto is at the end of Capricorn moving direct. We're not going to have this energy with us, which means we're hitting a level of mastery with Pluto. We are in a rebuilding phase. The universe is going to force you to drop all this mental stuff because it needs you to catch up and get on board with your new self. Get on board with your new life. The opportunities are in front of you. And the dry desert card is simply the idea that you cannot get healthy in an environment that made you sick anyways. You can't stay in a toxic relationship and hope to God it's going to get better. You can't stay at a job you can't stand and hope to God things get better. You have to take the action. You have to take the leap of faith. When you do, the universe is going to catch you because it knows that there's this whole other life, this whole other scenario that fits your vibration perfectly, and it wants to get you there. And you're back here holding on to a rope connected to all of this old version of self. A version of you that was afraid of rejection or failure. Maybe it was a version of you that was just so afraid to disappoint others that you put your dreams on the back burner. Aries energy, it's going to make you do the selfish things, right? Quote unquote selfish. Meaning you might have to disappoint some people. This is a path towards your destiny. And these people, if they're disappointed, if they're heartbroken, that was an important part of their journey as well. Because they need to evolve too. When we outgrow things, we're doing a disservice to each other by staying in it. This is the next step in the evolution, Capricorn. Bottom of the deck, Wheel of Fortune, Nine of Cups, the Hangman, and the Ten of Cups. Listen, I can't make it up. On the other side of this is the most beautiful life you could imagine, full of love, abundance, and happiness. And all you have to do is surrender to it. Where you are now is not for you. So it's time to recreate the new life. It's time to allow yourself to believe in the dreams. All right, Capricorn, really beautiful, powerful reading. I knew it would be. October's really big. So I am sending you all of my love and support. And I will be back soon with probably a pick-a-pow reading, trying to help you guys navigate through this month. But in the meantime, take care of yourself. I love you so much, guys.